Hey guys, my desk is a mess and this is Omega Man. Woo 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 woo! This is going to be a short one this week, because I happen to pick the worst 3 comics to read to learn anything about the Omega Men. Before we get started, here's our list of responsible parties. The only one I recognize is Marv Wolfman because I started reading Crisis on Infinite Earth a few months ago, and I still haven't finished it. The concept of this channel is to read comics that I had as a kid, and this is the one I had. Omega Man number 9 from the series that ran from 1983 to 1986. The only comic I read before that had the Omega Men in it was a guest appearance crossover in Adam Strange's Planet Heist. I highly recommend that one. I found it to be very fun. So I walked into my local comic shop one day and I found this issue that I had growing up, and on top of that I found the 2 that come before it. So I bought them thinking that I would actually learn something about these characters. And look, special origin issue, thank God for that. Spoiler, it's not the origin of the Omega Men, it is the origin of the bad guy. As told by a sentient computer called Complex. Tygor and his friends have essentially scored a major victory and destroying a major computer network or something, and the sentient computer tells him that they've actually aided in spreading violence across the galaxy. Like I said, these are probably the worst 3 issues to read. They're the middle issues between 2 arcs. These issues spend more time dealing with how people are reacting to the end of the war than rather than anything actual exciting happening. It's like if you found out what happened in the 3 days after Return of the Jedi. And yes, I know that was actually a thing. It was just a metaphor. So issue 7 gives you the origin story of the ruler of the Citadelians, the demigod-like son of Shaul. If you've ever watched the Teen Titans, Shaul is the exclamation said by Starfire, if I'm saying that correctly. These jerks called the Scions kidnap her and force her to crossbreed with this alien race. I'm not going to spend much time on it, but you can see a series of images right here. I thought it was pretty cool to find out that she was an actual character in the comics. In short, she's a warrior turned energy being. Well, not really a warrior. She's an innocent turned warrior turned energy being and worshipped as a god. There is a technical term that we will be using when reviewing comics in the future, and that term is Hadi Bubaladi. Make sure you write it down. It will be on the test later. Anyway, she has the bad guy, and oh yeah, he put his brainwaves into the computer, and he is complex. And he also has a bunch of clones. She also had another son named Auron, who's this guy flying away, and he does not take this news very well. Moving on, issue 8. Nothing's really happening. People are rejoicing. Actually, this part made me laugh a lot, though. Political prisoners young when war began are released from dungeons in sights they never expected to see again. Sunlight! That guy is definitely blind now. Felicity, who I later found out is an Omega Man, has excellent taste in music. And apparently still likes her 8-track. Again, nothing's really happening. Mostly you find out that there's a splinter group from the Citadel, led by a couple of characters. Most importantly appears to be this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Harry Hokum. Callista, an Omega Man, is being sworn in as Queen of Euphorix again, and that fabulous-looking ginger in the back is her husband, Primus, who I had later found out is actually the leader of the Omega Men. I didn't learn it in any of these comics, but I did eventually. Finally, the main event, number 9. Perhaps you've noticed this Return of the Jedi ad that keeps popping up. In all honesty, when I was a kid, that was the sole reason I would flip through this comic at all. Callista sworn in, and Harry Hokum and co. start executing enemies of the splinter group of the Citadel. Like New Sky. Oh, New Sky. The issue I had growing up, it used to automatically, you know how certain books when you flip through them will go to certain pages? New Sky always showed up when I flipped through this book. I feel so bad for him. Look at this picture. It's just an image of absolutely no hope. I might have to actually make an alien in my own story and base it on New Sky and have him get away or something. Like in the background, they'll have an alien that's all tied up, and he's got a noose around his neck with like a, but like the rope is broken, and he's running to freedom. Doc Schlagen also didn't know he was an Omega Man just by reading these comics. Fleeing Citadel fighters ends up running into Cirque du Soleil Lobo. Issue number 3 was his first appearance, and he is the reason why I will never be able to get all of the old back issues. Also, real quick, I forgot to mention that all of this takes place in the Vega system, which means that all the population of the Vega system are known as vegans. You cannot convince me that Tigor is a vegan. Finally, Harry Hokum is gaining more power, and he's capturing the Omega Men one by one. Spider-Man and Hulk make a guest appearance, and Tigor is left for dead. And that's it. My major problem with these comics here were that I didn't even get an idea of who was an Omega Man or not. I ended up having to go online and Wikipedia that stuff just to find out who the founding members were, and apparently there was 10 of them. The ones I saw were Primus, Callista, Tigor, Brute, Nimbus, Felicity, and Doc Schlagen. The definition of what I found for an Omega Men is extraterrestrial superhero renegades that joined to fight the Citadelians. Overall, I like it. I like the idea. The issue 9 cover is totally something out of the 80s. It looks like a kid's property that would have been born in the era of Transformers and Star Wars. Whether I would recommend it or not, the artwork is awesome. It's very clean. There's a lot going on per page. If you can find the back issues, then knock yourself out. A quick update, there actually is an omnibus coming out. And that's pretty cool. We just have to wait a little while when it comes out in January